Have you ever wondered what secrets lie buried in the Vatican's deepest archives? What truths have been deliberately hidden from us for centuries? Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive and controversial topics in religious history, the alleged prophecy of Mary Magdalene, a revelation so powerful it's said to have made the Church tremble. For nearly 2,000 years, the official narrative has painted Mary Magdalene in a very specific light. But what if there was more to her story? What if she wasn't just a follower, but a leader, a visionary, a prophetess whose insights were deemed too dangerous for the world to hear? To understand this, we have to travel back in time to the dusty roads of first-century Judea. The world was a cauldron of political unrest and spiritual fervor. In this setting, Mary Magdalene emerges not as the penitent sinner of later traditions, but as a prominent disciple, mentioned by name more times in the Gospels than some of the apostles. She was there at the crucifixion, a witness to the very end. And most crucially, she was the first person to whom the resurrected Jesus appeared, entrusting her with a message for the other disciples. This key role is what scholars call the apostle to the apostles. But what if the message she carried was far grander than what the canonical texts reveal? This is where we venture into the fascinating and often suppressed world of the Gnostic Gospels. These ancient texts, discovered in 1945 near Nag Hammadi in Egypt, offer a completely different perspective on early Christianity. They present a version of the faith where personal spiritual knowledge, or gnosis, is valued above all else. And in these texts, Mary Magdalene is a superstar. The Gospel of Mary, a text named for her, is particularly stunning. It doesn't portray her as a mere follower, but as the disciples' most enlightened confidant. After Jesus' ascension, when the apostles are fearful and confused, it is Mary who steps forward to comfort and instruct them. She shares with them secret teachings she received directly from Jesus in visions, teachings that go far beyond what the others understood. She speaks of the journey of the soul, of overcoming the passions of the material world, and of ascending through spiritual planes to reach a state of true inner peace. Her teachings are profound, mystical, and deeply personal. But her wisdom wasn't universally welcomed. The Apostle Peter, representing the emerging Orthodox Church structure, openly challenges her. He questions her authority, asking, "Did he really speak with a woman without our knowledge and not openly? Are we to turn about and all listen to her? Did he prefer her to us?" This conflict is the heart of the matter. It represents a fundamental schism in early Christianity. On one side, you have the path of Peter, based on hierarchy, apostolic succession, and a structured male-dominated institution. On the other, you have the path of Mary, representing direct mystical experience, inner revelation, and the spiritual authority of both men and women. So, what was her prophecy? While the Gospel of Mary doesn't contain a classic end-times prophecy, its very message is prophetic. It foretells a future for humanity and for faith itself. Mary's teachings prophesy a kind of spirituality where the Church is not a building or an institution, but the heart of every individual. The true Savior is the divine spark within us, waiting to be awakened. This prophecy directly threatened the foundations of the emerging Church. If every individual could achieve salvation through their own inner gnosis, what was the need for priests, bishops, and a pope? If women could be spiritual leaders on par with men, it would completely upend the patriarchal order being established. Mary's prophecy was a prophecy of radical spiritual equality and individual empowerment. This is why many believe her legacy was systematically altered. By the 6th century, Pope Gregory the Great conflated her with other biblical Marys, cementing her image as a repentant prostitute. This effectively demoted her from apostle to the apostles to a symbol of forgiven sin, a safe and non-threatening figure. Her Gnostic Gospels were declared heresy, and countless copies were destroyed, lost to the sands of time, until that remarkable discovery at Nag Hammadi. Think about the implications. What if this alternative vision of Christianity had prevailed? How different would our world be? The emphasis would have been on introspection, not dogma, on spiritual experience, not blind faith, on the divine feminine, balancing the masculine. It's a vision of wholeness, of a union between spirit and matter, light and dark, male and female, a concept that Mary Magdalene herself seems to embody. The trembling of the Church wasn't necessarily a literal earthquake in the Vatican. It was a deep, existential shudder at the potential of this alternative path. A path that empowered the individual over the institution, that honored the feminine, and that preached a gospel of inner freedom. The suppression of Mary's legacy was a deliberate choice to steer the ship of Christianity in a very different direction, one based on structure, authority, and control. But prophecies have a way of resurfacing. The rediscovery of the Gnostic texts in the 20th century, coupled with a growing spiritual hunger in our modern world, has ignited a massive renewed interest in Mary Magdalene. People are tired of being told what to believe and are searching for a more personal, direct connection to the divine. Mary's message, silent for so long, is now resonating more loudly than ever. Her prophecy is unfolding before our very eyes. It's the prophecy of a spiritual awakening, a return to the inner sanctum of the heart, where each of us can find our own truth. It's a call to re-examine history, to question the narratives we've been handed down, and to reclaim the lost wisdom that was deemed too radical to survive. The story of Mary Magdalene is not just a historical curiosity, it's a living, breathing testament to the power of truth to endure, even after centuries of suppression. It reminds us that the most profound secrets are not locked away in a vault, but are waiting to be discovered within ourselves. What do you think? Was Mary Magdalene a prophetess whose vision of Christianity was deliberately buried? Is her message of inner divinity the key to a more enlightened future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible journey into the past. If you found this exploration as fascinating as I did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. Ring that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Until next time, keep questioning.